Welcome to my studio. My name is Christine Alfery and I'm from northern Wisconsin. I'm a contemporary conceptual abstract artist, and I'm going to talk to you about this piece I've titled Rapids. And if ever you see a piece online that you like and you would like to know the details of it, like I'm detailing this piece right here, just send me an email and I would be happy to create a detailed video of it for you. I know it's hard to buy things online, and we all like to get up very closely and say, I wonder how she did that. Well, this is a way to have an actual personal experience with a piece that you're considering putting in your home, your own personal space. This piece is a very large piece. It's 40 by 60, and it's on an 8-foot by 8-foot wall. I am 5 feet tall, so you can see how big it actually is. There's a stool to represent a chair that someone might be sitting in. It gives you an idea of just how big it is. I call this piece Rapids. I paint natural things. I'm sort of a naturalist, and I paddle a lot in whitewater and remote river areas, and I've gone through rapids. I've gone through rapids like these, and I've fallen in rapids like these, and I've gone tumbling down to the end of the rapids in them. It's always a fun adventure. It's very wild, but this piece just captured that whole feeling. You can see the mountains on the horizon and the rushing water going up against it, and the rushing water cascading down, and the splash of water as it hits a rock that you want to avoid if you're in the rapids. And it just suited the whole piece. I love the colors that are in here. I have some very, very thin layers of paint. The yellow and the golds for the sky. You can actually see my brushwork up here. This is a very free-flowing wash area right through here. You can see I put a very first wash color on, and then I put another wash over it to bring out another layer of the mountains. And these are all quite thin layers of paint. And then in order to get the energy and the power and the feeling of those rapids, I just needed heavier paint. So I would put this paint on, and I would add water to it and allow it to flow like water would flow down a river. And you can see all the different variations of color as it's flowing and mixing together. I just noticed this as I was describing that to you. One of the great things about colors mixing together when you put them on your canvas, this piece is done on a canvas and stretched over stretcher bars, you get this very thick color, and as it dries, you get cracks in your paint. And I never think that's a flaw. I think that just that texture alone is just so great. You can see it down here, you can see it over here, you can see it up here. So much detail that comes in. I love the fact that the wash just sort of blushed. There's a blush of teal over this big, thick white paint. And then there's these washes going through here as you look at the detail of the work. But it's part of my experiences I've had in the wilderness, and it just so reminded me of some of my wilderness experiences on the water. So I called it Rapids. One of the things, this is part of a series of my water series, and I'm very concerned about what is happening with our waters and what we're doing with them. And so I did a whole series on water, and they're usually fast-flowing, moving waters, not dammed or trapped up. These marks here are a part of marks that you'll see in all my pieces. They again represent movement. They're the black and white dots. But for me, these represent figures on, figures on the shore, and they're watching me come down these rapids. And they're also the rescue team in case I tip and someone needs to pull me out of the water. So, and these are all the kayaks that are waiting, that already made it. Up here, you can see the very beginning of what I started to call my constellations. They were constellations, and at first when I did them, I tried to make them look like constellations we're all familiar with, like this was going to be the Big Dipper, but they instead became symbols, marks of networking and how we all network. You'll notice that these networks later on have become very, very important to me. The constellations that we in 2020 are making and how we're putting things together, because we have space that's so far-reaching that we didn't have 50 years ago. It's just very, very different and marvelous. Look for videos as I do new works, and if you need a video done of a piece that I've already painted and haven't videotaped it yet, just email me at christine@christinealfery.com.